Hey everyone, Jag Taggart 93 back in with something a little different. I'll still be doing my weekly Doom and Quake map reviews and playthroughs, but I also wanted to give Resident Evil some love. You see, while I love Quake and Doom, another series I enjoy, but I've had more of a love-hate relationship with over the years was Resident Evil. That said, I've been absolutely hyped that they're giving the remake treatment to Resident Evil 3, which is actually my favorite in the series. I'm eagerly waiting for it to release on April 3rd, and until then, I've been playing Resident Evil games in anticipation, focusing on ones I either played or ones I haven't quite finished, or ones I just overlooked. And one of the ones that I've overlooked is Operation Raccoon City, which you're seeing here, and I overlooked it originally because, well, I heard it was trash. And yeah, it's actually not a good game at all. Now, I still enjoyed parts of it, and I actually really like the premise and the setting. You see, part of the reason why I like Resident Evil 3 so much is for how close it is to the original outbreak at Raccoon City, That's a setting I kind of want more of. In Resident Evil 2, we're in Raccoon City, but the environments with their overturned cars and bloodstained roads show that by the time you're playing, you've kind of missed out on the fun, right? As a kid, I remember loving the intro cinematic to RE3 and really wanting a game where I played as an Umbrella soldier or as a Raccoon City police officer fighting the good fight against the hordes and hordes of undead. And yeah, you get that in the game Resident Evil Survivor, and I played and enjoyed it back in the day, but it's not the most accessible title these days, being an online game in PS2, so I also remember it being a little buggy as well. So Operation Raccoon City scratches that itch pretty nicely of being able to play in Raccoon City during the outbreak. And you get a choice to play between either the US Spec Ops or Umbrella's Secret Service team. And if you play as the Umbrella Secret Service team, you have the mission of covering up Umbrella's involvement in the outbreak, which I find pretty interesting, actually. Now, this means collecting or destroying sensitive data and executing all witnesses and survivors. So yeah, if you play as the Umbrella Secret Service team, you are playing as the bad guys. And I totally dig it, as that's not something you can usually do in Resident Evil. I mean, I could be wrong, but with the exception of the additional content missions like RE0's Wesker mode, I think this is the only game in the series where you could really play as the bad guys. And so far it sounds pretty interesting and right up my alley. There's a dynamic setting of Raccoon City during the outbreak, it's a Resident Evil game from Umbrella's perspective, and I absolutely love the cybergoth look to the Umbrella team. So things at first seemed pretty great, and quickly turned amazing when I realized that the first mission would be alongside my favorite Resident Evil character of all time, Hunk. So at this point I'm thinking that I might have just found a hidden gem in the series, at least for me. And then the game started. Well, kinda. You see, when I first tried to play it, it would immediately crash. It had something to do with Windows Live login thing, which I had to reinstall my computer before playing to get this game going, and apparently I'm not the only one with this bug, as the Windows Live in general tends to be a pain in the butt for people that want to play this game through Steam. But anyway, for all of Operation Raccoon City's good ideas and interesting premises, it's just not a good game, like I said. The gameplay is pretty bad and unpolished. There's some great ideas here, but, well, you pick a grunt to play, my guy being Vector, as his backstory references Code Veronica, another one of my favorite Resident Evil games. And then you pick your team. And you gotta choose wisely, as each soldier has a special ability. And it turns out I chose correct with Vector, as his special ability, cloaking and going into stealth mode, comes in real handy when I just got tired of dealing with all the bullshit from my underpowered weapons and stupid AI teammates, and I would just cloak and sprint right over to the next checkpoint. This tactic isn't always possible though, but it's a godsend towards the end of the game. Anyway, Berta is highly recommended, as her ability, being able to heal teammates, is absolutely essential. And her AI, while pretty dumb, as all the AI really is in this game, it has moments where it could really come through and keep me standing. The only other soldier really worth a damn is Four Eyes, as her ability allows for antiviral sprays to drop from defeated enemies. You see, if you're bitten by a zombie in this game, you have a chance to become infected, which is pretty neat. When that happens, you're on a timer, and your only hope to stop the infection is with the antiviral spray. The same can happen to your teammates too. However, if you're not playing with people over online, and good luck with that, especially now in 2020, but if you're playing with AI bots, it's best usually just to kill your teammates as soon as they become infected if you don't have a spray on you. Or just sprint and run to the next checkpoint, as they'll all be fine after the next checkpoint. Going back to help my AI teammates often got me killed, so I realized that is probably not the best tactic to take. More often than not, just go it alone, sprint, and be a one-man wrecking crew. And honestly, I was a-okay with this tactic because, again, you're playing as the bad guys who with the Umbrella crew, they're all kind of not very good people. You see their backstories, and you can imagine what they were up to. So again, my favorite character was Vector. He was trained on Rockford Island, which basically is like a concentration camp and training facility, all in one, Stu. I don't want to give too much away about Code Veronica, and that's the purpose of this video, but yeah, he probably did some stuff. And Berta, for example, in her backstory, she literally gets off on treating people without painkillers, so yeah, it's totally within character to be out for number 1 here. So, like I said, the AI is pretty jank. They're horrible at killing things, they run into traps gleefully, and will often run right out in front of your crosshairs while you're shooting. However, as you know, I rather enjoyed Daikatana, and I also liked a little game called Vampire Rain back in the day, and that said, I can cope with dumb, friendly AI, so having AI that's horrible isn't really a deal breaker for me. Now, as I said earlier, the weapons are pretty underpowered, and they definitely are. When I started, I kept picking the MP5 for no other reason than story accuracy and cannon accuracy, but it just seems to tickle the US Spec Ops soldiers. Thankfully, you are able to earn points in this game to purchase better weapons, which I did as soon as I was able to. And just now I touched on another small part of the game I like, the involvement of the US military. You see, that's something I wondered. What exactly was the federal government doing during the outbreak, and here we see it. America's Finest were called in to help with rescue efforts, and we're stopping them because, again, we're the baddies, but if you choose to play as the US Spec Ops version of the game, it unfolds a little differently, and instead of trying to destroy evidence, you're trying to collect evidence and pin it to Umbrella, which is pretty interesting. So far with everything I've said, it sounds like this is a flawed game, but there's still parts that you could enjoy. I would even be able to overlook the janky controls here, and make no mistake about it, the controls are pretty crap, where the cover mechanic works when it wants to, and changing your weapon sometimes results in quick turning instead. But whatever, I could overlook all of that. That is until things got really stupid and my enjoyment really ground to a halt. Here we're going to get into spoiler territory, but it doesn't really matter much because this game is considered non-canon. So throughout the game you see RE characters like William Birkin, Hunk, Nikolai, Sherry, Leon, and however each time it leaves me feeling either disappointed or confused or a little pissed. Like I said, Hunk is my favorite Resident Evil character, but he's just there to collect a paycheck really, and he's gone by the end of the first mission. You never see him again. Nikolai appears in a cutscene early in the game as well, and I'm thinking, oh okay, this will explain what happens to Nikolai at the end of RE3. We're probably going to kill him. But no, for whatever reason, we just let him go. Which makes no goddamn sense, as this was moments after we gunned down a whole bunch of UBCS comrades without a second thought. And just minutes ago, we were reminded of our orders. Absolutely no witnesses of our involvement were to be kept alive, whether they're civilian, police officers, military, or Umbrella comrades. And yet, despite common sense, and despite the orders of our employer, that up until now, we've had no problem following through to the T, we inexplicably let Nikolai walk. And once you know it, he returns later in the game to try and murder us all. So yeah, no good deed goes unpunished, I suppose, especially if it's phenomenally stupid and out of character as well too. At the end of the game, you find Claire, Sherry, and Leon with the orders to capture Sherry and kill Leon and Claire. However, after the mission gets compromised, your Umbrella employers are totally ready to leave you to die too. So you have an incentive to go against orders and let these people live. And this really sounds like it could be an interesting choice, but how it's done is just so hilariously stupid. Here we have Leon, wounded, and if we picked the option to kill him, I think we would do it right then and there, and be done with it, but no. The game then cuts, and we're doing this in a large room, like it's some kind of paintball match with Leon on one side, me on the other. And for some reason, no matter what you choose, half your team will be on your side, and the other half will be against you. And I have no idea where Claire is during this, as in the story she's actually unharmed, and should be able to put up a fight, but whatever. Now, if you choose to save Leon, it ends exactly the same way, except a computer-controlled Leon is on your side. I recommend saving him as well because, well, screw it. It's not worth trying to kill one of the best characters in the series in such a stupid way, especially when you can take gunshots from a sniper rifle to the face like an absolute champ. And there is another ending in the game which is a bit more satisfying, although it involves playing as the US Spec Ops instead of Umbrella. Now, I was happy to see, though, that they didn't reuse the Umbrella ending and instead gave the game an ending with an actual boss fight where you gotta buy time for Claire, Leon, and Sherry to escape the city through helicopter. While I enjoy playing as Umbrella's gas mask wearing cybergoth ghost squad more, I find the Spec Ops good guy ending much more fulfilling because of the boss fight, and it could still kind of fit with the canon. Well, sort of. It'll fit much more easily, I suppose, than the alternative endings. Still, I give credit for the attempt at variety here, and having the ability to replay the game as the US Spec Ops team is pretty nice. And if you do play as them, you get to see some other characters too, like Carlos and Jill during the events of Resident Evil 3, which is pretty neat. So there you have it. Operation Raccoon City, speaking for myself, was not an entirely bad experience. And I did get it on sale for about $7, so I think that's a factor in my enjoyment here. However, I can't in good conscience say this is anywhere close to being an objectively good game, due to its half-baked ideas and very poorly executed shooting and cover mechanics. I did have more fun with it than the other black sheep in the series, Umbrella Corps, which I was thinking about reviewing as well, but I really don't want to because that involves actually playing it some more, and I really don't want to. That game is just sad. Anyway, like I said, I got it for about $7. Don't pay more than $10 for it, and I recommend it if you really want to see some, lore tidbits, even though it's non-canon. You get to explore a lot of Raccoon City, like City Hall and the police department, much more thoroughly than in the other games. And with that incentive, if that sounds appealing to you at all, give it a try. And that's all I really have to say about it. Thanks for watching. This is Jag Taggart 93 signing out. You have a good one.